It's been a few months since we've rated crypto gaming coins. Today, we're going to be making history, 110 crypto gaming coins on a single video. There have never been more crypto gaming coins, and these lists get larger and larger and larger every month that goes on by. It's going to be very simple, gameplay related, not as strong of a metric as can this token go win moon. We're going to be going from S tier, which is the best coins that have the most potential right now, and going all the way down to F tier. F tier doesn't necessarily mean it's going to perform bad. It just means that right now, due to market sentiment and due to some of the things that they're doing, just doesn't look like that safe of a bet. If you enjoy this kind of content, as always, like and subscribe. This took a ton of effort to make, so smash that like button and let's get right into it. The first coin I want to talk about is Floki. It's a meme coin. They're building a game called Valhalla. Now, Valhalla, it looks okay. They started it off with browser. I think they're starting to move it on to somewhere else, but you know, this is something you invest into because it's a meme coin. The meme coin's doing pretty well right now. It's at a $1.4 billion market cap. And so we're going to be putting it on the solid tier because memes have run really well and it's not a space you want to ignore. Aethir finally launched. I mean, this is the first tier list we've done that Aethir as a token has launched. This token is holding really strong despite the markets correcting. It's an AI play. It's a deep in play. It's a gaming play. I think that their cliffs, their vesting is very solid. They have just an enormous use case. NVIDIA, they are worth what, $3 trillion, and Aethir right now is at 253 million. So I'm definitely putting them at S tier right now for deep in plays in 2024. Affyn right now, they've had their coin out for quite a bit. Their coin doesn't do incredible in terms of volume, but I like their use case. I like the games that are built on there right now. In terms of why people should invest into it, I feel like it's not there, but it absolutely has potential to be something in the future. So we're putting it in C tier for now. The next one is Altura. Altura has been around for a really long time. I mean, Altura, they're that guy that came back in 2021 and said, yeah, we're going to do well. They are supporting NFT infrastructure. They were actually the guys that helped Neo Tokyo when OpenSea went crazy. Their token, as you can see, isn't doing very well right now, has good volume. So clearly they've got market makers helping out. I've always been confused because I know Altura is doing well as it feels like a project head, but as an actual token, the token just doesn't seem to do well, which just heavily confuses me. I think it absolutely has potential. I don't think it's struggling necessarily, but the token just doesn't look that great right now. The next one is Anichess. So Anichess right now, they are a game. They're supposed to do a couple twists on, you know, the chess that we all know and love. From what I've seen, you know, they partnered with chess.com, which is really big news. There was a chess game that didn't do too well back in the day, but just the fact that they're partnered with chess.com, which chess.com is absolutely enormous, should give you enough qualm to say that this game has more than just potential and is a solid project coming into the next quarter. Apecoin. Now, Apecoin hasn't been doing too well. I know that they cut a lot of that whole gaming thing, so I mean, we're kind of right with our predictions. I don't even know if they're struggling. It just seems like even Bored Ape Yacht Club holders don't want to hold Apecoin right now. So we're just going to leave it there. The next one is Apeiron. Now, Apeiron is on the Ronin network. They've launched their game. Ronin recently said that they were going to start, you know, building out L2s. I'm assuming that Apeiron is going to have an L2. As you can see, the token hasn't been doing too hot, but of course they launched during pretty poor market conditions. I like this game and I'm really surprised that it's doing as poorly as it is right now. I would love to see some stabilization come when the markets actually bounce, but as it stands right now, I'm going to be leaving it at the potential mark and not necessarily solid or great or best for now, only because it just hasn't shown stabilization. So it's hard to buy into something that looks like a falling knife right now, but it's a good game. It's definitely a good game in terms of gameplay. So next one is Arcade. Arcade doesn't have a lot of volume right now, has a very low market cap, has just not shown stabilization. I like their mission pools. You know, we invested into Arcade and it is what it is, right? It is what it is, but I like what they're trying to do, and I do think that this whole questing rewards pool meta isn't going to go anywhere, but is only going to work with these games actually start to get some stickiness, some retention numbers going. Until then, this is going to be a play that isn't doing that great. I mean, the chart's struggling for now, so we're going to be putting it at D tier. So Artifact is the next one. So Artifact, they're trying to do some AI thing. They pumped a bunch at the start and then they just dumped to oblivion. I haven't seen anything on the feed yet, so I'm going to leave it at struggling and we'll leave it there. Aurory is the next one. This is also one that, you know, this one had a huge run earlier in the year. This is on Solana. Their game looks phenomenal. Their treasury is very big. And so, I mean, come on, it's Aurory. Aurory is one of the best crypto games on Solana right now, hands down. So I'm putting this at potential, but it just Solana games, for some reason, I've noticed this, just haven't seen any attention really. Like the fact that you're building on Solana doesn't really give it a value add. It just kind of just means that you're building on Solana, which I would like to see the Solana Foundation or someone up there start giving these crypto games on Solana more attention. So next one is Axie Infinity. So Axie Infinity, they had Homeland and they had a couple other large installments. They have the bounty board. The bounty board's getting updated. They got a lot of users because of it. But as a token, to be honest with you, I would not buy Axie Infinity over Ronin. Ronin is their ecosystem token. I think Ronin is much better of a play than Axie Infinity in 2024. I understand, you know, I hold Axies myself. I hold Origins. I hold Japanese Axies, all that kind of stuff. But I would just much rather have Ronin than AXS. So I mean, it's definitely one of the biggest coins, so it's solid, but I personally wouldn't be grabbing, you know, AXS in 2024. So next one is Beam. I actually really like Beam because they play on partnerships really big. You know, they came from Merit Circle. They did a migration. Now they're doing really well. I mean, you know, relative to the entire space, they're one of the biggest crypto gaming coins. I'd be very surprised to not see this be a top gaming coin this cycle. So just because of their partnerships, because of their investments portfolio, and the fact that, you know, they're building on an AVAX subnet, they're beginning to expand, it seems, I'm going to be putting them on an S tier. I really like what Beam is doing, and I'm sure when crypto gaming comes back, they're going to be doing well. So next one is Bigtime. So Bigtime, on our last list, we put them on D for utility. I still kind of maintain that rating. I think that if you're playing Bigtime, then this is pretty solid, but I just think it's too situational. The Bigtime token, it's struggling right now. I'm sure Bigtime as a company is not struggling. So if this is like a company rating, I don't think this company is struggling. But from a token standpoint, I personally wouldn't buy Bigtime. I would rather participate in the ecosystem, buy the NFTs, than buy the Bigtime token at the moment. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of like, honestly, if we can find SLP, I'd be putting it in the same place. I would not buy SLP. I would rather play Axie Infinity to gain that SLP. And that's how I'll, you know, get my SLP. So the next one is Noob. So Noob, I found it on the Blast Royale Twitter. So Blast Royale is a game, has a solid amount of downloads, actually, if you look. But it feels like the quality of investment isn't crazy right now. I don't know if this company has raised a solid amount of money. So we'll see what ends up happening when they have a Genesis collection. Their Genesis collection, it doesn't have, you know, a huge valuation. 316 Matic, it's a couple $100, maybe. Is that even $100? 163, yeah. So it's decent, but it's not enough to really put this game at a huge standpoint. I would say it's one of those games that, you know, it was bigger as a narrative when there were less crypto games, but now that there are more crypto games, it has potential, but it's not one of the best crypto games in the space anymore. Bloodloop. So Bloodloop actually understands how to make a token. They made a token, and I was actually talking to Pasquale. They don't have a lot of centralized exchange listings. I also invested into this one, and I actually think it's a really interesting talk here. I know this might go a little bit long as a video, but I know that if you stick around here and you stick enough to actually learn about these crypto gaming coins, you will learn a thing or two for sticking around for this video. So they don't have a lot of centralized exchange listings, which means they didn't pay a lot of money to get these listings, and yet their token is doing really well. If you look at the all-time performance right now, I mean, it is just incredible what this token has done during these market conditions. It's the best launch of June 2024, and I find that to be really big of a deal. I played their game. I don't really like their game right now. I've already told Pasquale and the team that, like, as a game, I don't think you're there yet, and I think they understand that, so they're, you know, actively building on this. But as a token, I think they get it, and I like the fact that they're thinking of crafting nodes and they're being creative with how they're building out their tokens. So this one is getting a high A tier for me for sure. Maybe not an S tier right now. I'm not big on, you know, single gaming tokens, but if it becomes an ecosystem token in the future, they get a bunch of games under their L1 or whatever they end up building, then this could be an S tier for sure. So Bubble is the next coin. So this came from Imaginary Ones. Imaginary Ones launched, and their token hasn't been doing too hot. It's like pretty much lows right now. I saw Bubble Rangers, and you know, I played it a little bit. I'm not too sold on it just yet, but I think as an ecosystem, it definitely has potential to be something at some point. So Bulliverse is the next one. This was a big 2021 play back in the day. Their token, though, I mean, like, it's tough. It's a tough world for tokens right now. You need to raise a ton of money. You need to have a lot of stability. And I just think the risk that you'd be taking getting Bulliverse right now at where it is, it just doesn't make sense for me. So I'm going to be putting it at the F tier. So 𝐷 is going to be launching a token. These are crypto gaming nodes. We've made a video on this before on the channel, so I'll leave a link for that. But, you know, we bought a bunch of these nodes. I spent, you know, more than $10,000 on these things. And I like what they're doing. They have a ton of funding. It reminds me a lot of Aethir. I wouldn't put them as high on the tier list as Aethir. I don't think this is an S tier coin just yet. I'd want to see what happens post-launch and how they handle all of the unlocks coming for their coin. That's just something every, you know, crypto gaming node play is going to have. But I like what they're doing, and what they have in their arsenal could put them at the S tier easily later this year. So I'm going to be putting it at the solid tier right now, and we'll see where it goes from there. So 𝐂𝐫 is the next one. This is Castle of Blackwater. And, you know, this is one of those coins that I'm a little bit confused on what's going on. Their game is not bad. I don't think their game's bad. It is a game that is very similar to Town of Salem, where, you know, you've got to go ahead and kill people. It's a social deduction game, kind of got that like mystery stuff going on. The game is fine. I actually don't think the game's bad, but I just don't really understand where the token is supposed to play in the rest of this ecosystem. So until I understand that, I am going to leave them at I am confused pretty much tier. I'll be putting them at D tier. So Champion Tactics. I actually really like what they've kind of teased so far for Champions Tactics. This is an Ubisoft upcoming Web3 PvP game. You look at the closed beta, it actually looks pretty sexy here. If you actually go ahead and look at it, they've got the cards, they're just doing their things. You select your skills, and then bam, 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 you end up killing them. This game looks good. It has potential. You know, I don't know what's going to happen, but definitely has potential. So Chromia is the next one. Chromia was a play that died out for a while, but it has come back pretty strong. Seems like they've got a bit of a crypto gaming presence. They've got questing on their platform. They have a really high valuation though, right? And high valuations, they're tough to get into. You have to be a really good token to buy at a 195 mil market cap. They're on Binance Upbit, so clearly they're getting a ton of volume because of that. And, you know, Binance-backed stuff, it gets a lot of attention, so there's no universe in which I'd be putting this at D or F. I would say, I mean, it has potential, but I would say questing isn't as attractive of a narrative as it was earlier this year. Chronoforge is the next game. So Chronoforge, I've seen, is getting a lot of attention. Their game, initially, I wasn't interested in at all, and to be honest, I thought it was pretty trash, but I have seen that they've been improving on their game a lot, and this actually looks good. I mean, this is a surprising amount of quality in a crypto game right now. It seems like a lot of people in the space are really hyped for this one. And, you know, while I haven't dug too deep into it, it does look good. And all it takes is for them to do a launch without an absurd valuation for them to be a success. So I'll be putting them right now at the solid tier. So Cornucopias is the next one, and Cornucopias over here, 29 million right now, is struggling, of course, with most of the rest of the space. They had a node sale which caused a ton of sales on their token, and you know, this is a coin that we've been sponsored to cover on the channel before. To be honest, it's very like cookie cutter. If the metaverse niche is going to be a success, then 𝐂𝐵 is going to be a success. Metaverse right now isn't hot. People aren't hyped for metaverse games. This is a life simulation game, so they've kind of pivoted a little bit. And I'd want to see metaverses do well. If they do, then Cornucopias, I think, is going to make a very strong comeback. And I'm surprised that it's at a 30 million market cap right now. So definitely a solid coin for my list right now. So the next one is Crypto Unicorns. So Crypto Unicorns, they announced their migration over to 𝐸. What's happened since their migration to 𝐸? Well, they've pretty much made new all-time lows for their coin. So if you're getting into this coin, if you're getting into Rainbow, what was Rainbow, I would say the argument is, what is going to happen with 𝐸? Are they getting enough incentives from 𝐸? Is 𝐸 growing as an ecosystem? If yes, then Crypto Unicorns is going to do well. If not, then it just seems like a coin that is put onto the 𝐸 Games network for the sake of increasing the amount of games on 𝐸. So I would say for now, it's a game that, I mean, I've seen it. I've played it a little bit. It definitely has potential, but it's a game that doesn't wow me at the moment enough to invest my money into. So Decentraland is the next one. I think we can all agree that Decentraland is not a cryptocurrency that I would personally want to buy, or I don't know if you'd want to buy. It just seems like one of those coins that pumped a lot back in the day for whatever reason. Someone had connections or something happened, and then, you know, they're doing something else now. I don't know what's going on here. Next one is Decimated. So Decimated has good gameplay. I've seen it. I've played it a little bit. You know, the token is a different story. The token hasn't really like wowed me just yet. They had huge, I mean, look at this dilution. It was enormous, but a lot of the supply is now out there, which could be a good thing for you. If you're looking at the yearly chart, they're up 164%. This is not a bad game. This is not a bad coin. It's more of a story of, you know, will Decimated, which is right now on Solana, are these Solana games going to get the attention that they deserve? Which I think eventually they'll get that attention with Solana ETFs, etc. So absolutely has potential, but of course doesn't wow me like a B or an A tier would. So Dami Online is the next one. Dami is one that, I mean, they've got, it feels a lot like RuneScape on Avalanche. Avalanche's narrative died down in Q4 of 2023. I'm a little bit shocked that we haven't seen a resurgence on this narrative. And Dami, I mean, albeit, like, look at this chart. It was practically dead as a coin. And then it came back really strong, has been pretty strong for a while. I am actually more bullish on this coin than I was back in the day. I don't own it, but I am much more bullish than I was before. I was thinking of it more like a D tier. I'd be putting this more on like a C tier. I mean, it's a very low market cap coin, but I've got to give them props for how they've handled this this little mini bear cycle so far. So Prime is the next one. Prime, I put this on S tier last time. I still maintain my S tier. I mean, there were token unlocks. The token has kind of corrected since then. We bought this thing at like $3. I already took a lot of, you know, profit on my crypto gaming coins. I still hold a ton of crypto gaming coins. I think Echelon Prime will be a big narrative in crypto gaming still. And buying Echelon Prime at anywhere under $10 right now seems like a pretty good valuation for what Prime is supposed to be in the future. So I'm still going to maintain my S tier rating for Echelon Prime. So Elixir is the next one. Elixir reminds me a lot of 𝐶eDeFi in a way. I mean, it seems like they're kind of doing something very similar to 𝐶eDeFi, where they are doing launchpads. But that's not like the main thing that they have to go ahead and do. It's also, they have a launcher, right? And this launcher has a bunch of different games. These games presumably are going to want to be on Elixir because of the attention that they're getting. And so they have everything they need to be a top tier crypto gaming coin. And for me, it was, and I talked to the team about this. I think they launched during a bad time. I just don't think a June launch made any sense for this coin. This is a coin that needs to launch during positive market conditions to be successful. Now, that's not to say this isn't going to be a success. I think this is more of like a, you buy this now, and then, you know, we'll see a couple months from now if crypto gaming projects get enough attention for the business model of Elixir to make sense. If so, I think Elixir is going to have a really big resurgence. They have RoboKaiden, which I didn't put RoboKaiden's token, but RoboKaiden is a game. We presume that it's going to have some kind of coin at some point. So Elixir right now, I would say it has a lot of potential, but, you know, there's a lot of discounts on the market right now. It's a lot of discounts in the market. And while I'm excited for Elixir, there's just so many coins, right? So Lumia is the next one, and Lumia was doing really well for a while, and that's because they actually had people farming their play to earn. I mean, that was a real thing. People were farming play to earn on Lumia. They're up a lot. I mean, they were practically dead, like kind of like Dami. They've come back from the ashes. They've held. I like this coin. No, would I throw millions of dollars at it? No, I don't think it's an S tier coin, but I think this one's solid. I still maintain, like, I like Lumia. I think Lumia is doing some good stuff. Ember Sword, they actually launched their coin. They launched at a very low valuation. It felt like kind of like a stealth launch. I mean, they've got no volume on their coin. It feels like they paid nothing for marketing and no one knows that their coin exists, but it does exist. And Ember Sword was one of the most hyped games in the crypto space back in 2021. So this could be a sleeper one. Definitely not necessarily struggling. I mean, it was a terrible launch day. This was in June, right? But nonetheless, something I am looking in my radar, not necessarily to invest right now, but if they actually end up doing anything in terms of marketing, then I probably will buy a bag of Ember Sword, because I think what they're doing is cool, but I mean, it's been red after red on their charts. So the next one is Engines of Fury. I actually got in this one through the Citus Launchpad. I still remember this. And so Engines of Fury, their token's actually pretty solid-ish. I mean, it launched at 28 cents, went all the way up here to almost $1, kind of ranged, but they've been holding. It seems like very clear that they understand that this token needs to hold itself no matter what market conditions. It's on BSC, so BSC isn't the most attractive thing in the world, but it has kind of been holding. So it is a game definitely with a lot of potential. Engine. So Engine confuses me. I haven't heard of anything Engine related in a really long time. They just haven't been doing well, and it's kind of sad because I feel like Engine had a lot of potential back in 2021. I just haven't seen the thing that's really made me want to like be wowed by Engine. So I don't think it's dead just yet. But I definitely think they're struggling to get that attention that they need to continue to be a top crypto gaming project. So the next one is Lizard Labs and their Liz coin right there. So Liz, you know, they're trying to scale up your game, questing, going ahead, hopping out there. They've got this big old community that they're trying to activate. You know, embrace your inner lizard and join us as we pioneer play with top Web3 studios. I think the concept is cool. I think it depends on the valuation. If the valuation's over 100 mil, I do think that would probably be pretty overvalued for what they're building at the moment. You know, we did a couple spaces for ETH Lizards, and I think what their concept is for is going to work in a scenario where there's a lot of attention for crypto gaming. But at the moment, I just don't see it just yet. And so I'm going to be putting them at probably the potential mark. There's potential there, but they haven't cooked just yet. Not just yet. So the next one is Evermoon. Now they are building a MOBA, and this reminds me a lot of coins like Castle of Blackwater, where I am not certain as to what in the world this token is supposed to be used for. It's just simple as that. I don't really understand why a MOBA would need a token and why this MOBA would cause a bunch of people to buy this token. So I don't understand it, but maybe there's something I don't get, so I'll leave it at the potential. Xverse. So Xverse is, they did release their coin. So they've got $1 million market cap. They are at lows. They launched in April. Every crypto gaming chart that launched in April looks like this. They are... I don't hate the coin though. I mean, it's in a solid amount of centralized exchanges. Their gameplay, it's not incredible. It's okay. So I would say probably C tier right now. I wouldn't say necessarily like it's dead or anything, but it's like, it's A right now. So Fableborn, I looked at their Twitter. This is one of the most hyped crypto gaming airdrop campaigns right now. They are saying that the most powerful players will take home Redacted. We can all assume that it's an airdrop. Redacted, there's some kind of coin there. This is easily A tier. I really like their gameplay. I think their gameplay is really solid. But you know, we'd have to wait and see if people actually want to play this game. People don't want to play this game. It kind of is what it is, but I think it's great. I enjoyed it a lot. Farcana right now is an interesting token. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Overwatch, right? Their token, everybody was fudding this one to bits. People were fudding the heck out of their December playtest. It just didn't do well. And so their token's pretty much been making new lows since then. I am not convinced just yet that Farcana's utility will make any sense for its game, but I definitely wouldn't count them out just yet. I'll say that like they're struggling, you know, just looking at them. They're on Polygon apparently. Why are you on Polygon? But maybe they'll go on Immutable. If they go Immutable, it'll save them. It'll save them. We'll see. So the next one is Ace. So this is one people were trying to get me to cover last time. I looked into this one and I don't get it. They've got 3 games they're supposed to be developing. That just doesn't seem convincing. They were on Binance, right? They launched on Binance, so they got a bunch of attention because of that. I just don't understand what is going on here. So I'm going to be putting it at struggling, not in terms of like I don't get what they're doing, but in terms of like how is this supposed to maintain a valuation that high? Just I don't understand that. So Gameit is the next one. Gameit, they've got a lot of computing power that they've got going for them. They've got a really big community. That a bunch of people were airdrop farming them, which you could see that they've been dumping since then. The actual coin is not dead. I would say its valuation, I think, is still a little bit too high for me to get into. And I don't know if they're struggling, and you know, the company's probably not struggling, but as a coin right now, at least you're struggling. I don't think it's a bad buy though at all, for sure. So Gala, okay, so Gala's the next one, guys. I mean, I think everybody knows my opinion on Gala. So right now it's at 2.3 cents. You know, kind of is what it is in terms of a chart. It's just not a coin I would get. It's not a coin I would get. I would say they're not dead. You know, this coin could pump, you know, magically because of the crypto gaming markets, and they're not as bad as Apecoin or Decentraland, but they're definitely struggling. I think that's safe to say. They're definitely struggling. So 𝐂𝐫𝐲𝐻 is at a 6.7 mil market cap. This one has kind of held itself. It pumped a bunch. I remember Alex Becker mentioned it, and then like that thing went crazy. Has been just bleeding since then. Maybe they're waiting to do their marketing later. I own their games lobby NFTs. You know, it is what it is. It's expensive. Right now, their website is incredible, though. If these questing platforms are going to be a success, 𝐂𝐫𝐲𝐻 should be one of the larger ones here. So I will actually be putting this one at the potential mark. I don't think they're struggling right now at all. So GFAL is games for a living. They have a game. Well, a couple of games actually. So their token was doing really well earlier this cycle. I mean, it felt like the token just kept going up forever. But lately, I think it's Elemental Raiders is their game. Yeah, it is Elemental Raiders. Elemental Raiders looks cool, but their actual token has been struggling for a while. I think this is one of those that has shown itself as to be an early winner, so that's going to help with their chart. It has potential. I'm not counting them out at all at this state, at all. GameSwift is the next one. They recently announced the testnet for what is supposed to be their super duper chain, the God chain. The GameSwift chain, the God of God's chain. So GameSwift did really well, and they had a couple tokens. They just absolutely mooned when they launched. And of course, crypto gaming markets are doing what they're doing right now, and their volume sucks. The token's dumping. It kind of is what it is. But this is one of those that has a lot of potential. So I'm definitely putting it at the solid tier. We'll be putting it at a B tier. So next one is Gods Unchained. So Gods Unchained is a good game. It's a card game. Would I hold their token? Probably not. I probably wouldn't hold their token. Why wouldn't I hold their token? Because I feel like their time has kind of passed for that. Just because you've made a good, close to Web 2 game doesn't necessarily mean that your token deserves to be at billions of dollars in terms of market capitalization. And so I'm going to be putting them at, I think they're struggling right now as a token. But I really love their community, and I would actually play their game if I was into trading card games. I used to play it. I used to have a bunch of NFTs. They just don't have the same mindshare they had back in the day. But I know Meepo. I mean, shout out to Meepo. That guy's like, he's absolutely killing it with his content. Guild of Guardians. Guild of Guardians is one of the flagship games on Immutable X. I would be hard pressed to see Immutable X see this game fail. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. If they put so much focus on Guild of Guardians, why would they let this fail? So that's kind of my play. Immutable has a lot of incentives for making this game work out for their ecosystem. The game itself isn't bad. It's a pretty cookie cutter game, and overall has a lot of potential, but isn't wowing me right now, at least. They got a lot of games, I mean a lot of downloads, but I don't see a lot of the mind share on X. So Gunzilla. So Gunzilla is making Off the Grid, and they also have Technocore, which is, this mobile game that they ended up developing. People are farming whatever coin, gun by guns. I should put the little gun token or whatever. But I'm really bullish on this one. This is an S tier because there's just so many people that are talking about this thing right now. Has incredible mind share. It has tons of hype. It's going to be one of the first games on Xbox, or the first game on Xbox for crypto gaming. So we have a lot of our eggs put on the Gunzilla basket. Gunzilla's got to make it. Gunzilla's got to make it for crypto gaming. Honeyland is the next one. So Honeyland has HXD, and last time we put them on the D tier because I thought the token was really situational. I'll kind of maintain that rating. I think the token's really situational right now. I know that there's people that made money off of it, and they bought queen bees and all these different things, but I just kind of see it in the same exact place as I saw it before. So I'm just going to maintain that D rating. Hytopia. So Hytopia, they did their node sale. We purchased a bunch of these nodes, and since then, I mean, they've been kind of just doing nothing, have been ranging down as most of the market kind of does. Volume, it looks ugly. Very ugly. They're pretty much on Uniswap, so you'd have to look at that depth to see how much you could actually sell for this token. I would say I wouldn't buy this coin right now, and that's saying as someone that's bought a bunch of nodes, but I would say that if they end up actually going through with this game, it comes out, they have an ecosystem of a bunch of games, and the chart starts reversing, this is a game that this is a token that I would definitely buy, even though I own nodes, so it has potential for sure. So Illuvium. Illuvium is doing one of their launches real soon. I mean, real soon we're going to get this. Recently, a lot of people stopped staking their Illuvium, presumably because the rewards went poof, right? They ended. So, you know, the coin's at $59. $59, not great, but it's not terrible. It's still up 30% on the year. I'm very bullish on this game. I think it looks attractive in terms of a game. It's very sexy. And so I'm going to be putting it at solid, and we'll see where it goes from there. IMX. IMX is one of the biggest gaming coins, if not the biggest gaming coin in the entire space. They have a lot of mind share because of that. Their coin hit new all-time highs in terms of a market cap. And since then, they've been ranging. This is a coin that's going to do well in a bull cycle for crypto gaming. This is a coin that is constantly onboarding people. I don't buy the whole, like, we have 3 billion or, well, 1.6 million users just yet because, you know, people are just farming gems. It's not necessarily the games themselves. It's debatable, right? But I like this. I like this ecosystem. Would I put it above, you know, Aethir? Probably. I probably would be putting it. I mean, it's daddy of crypto. Daddy of crypto is Immutable X right now. So Jewel token. This is from DeFi Kingdoms. So DeFi Kingdoms, they got a Jewel coin. It's struggling. It's struggling right now. I'd love to see them build out a game though at some point. Still feels like a DeFi protocol. I know they're working hard. But still feels like a DeFi protocol. So Carrot coin. Carrot, they're doing an ecosystem. My pet hooligan was one of the first games. They're listed on Coinbase. I love a Coinbase listing. Very sexy. Their coin is, you know, it's a 56 cents. Not bad. Definitely at the S tier, I think. They've got the AI niche also going for them. It reminds me a lot of Prime. I'll put it in the same place as Prime. Kind of move this around a little bit. Oosh. Okay. All right. I think we're good here. We're happy with that. So Compete is the next coin. They have a battle royale game on mobile. I think their battle royale game looks excellent. But I mean, I've maintained this since day one. I still don't understand why people would buy enough Compete to make this worth hundreds of millions of dollars in the game. Like why would people buy the Compete coin? I still don't get the utility basis. And maybe I'm just like a dude that's like delusional or something. But for now, I'm going to be putting this at it has potential, but it hasn't edged me over like okay, this is solid. This is amazing. So LitLab Games got acquired by Elixir. And their coin doesn't have a crazy amount of incentives, just kind of like if you want to participate in Elixir. I think it's struggling. I think I'd rather have Elixir as a coin rather than LitLab Games. Love Monster. So Love Monster came out with their coin. Their coin has, I mean, it recently got onto Radium, so decentralized exchange, and they have been doing nothing since then pretty much. So I guess we'll have to wait and see for market conditions, but for now they are struggling. So next one is Magic Treasure. This one I actually was more bearish on than I am today. I'm actually more bullish on Treasure because of the beacon. The beacon has definitely changed my perspective on Treasure's ecosystem. I know that they have a bunch of content creators also covering them, so shout out to y'all. Of course, the coin is struggling right now. It's a lot of like Arbitrum. They're shelling out a bunch of money, a lot of sell pressure as a result. This is a big gamble right now, but it definitely has a lot of potential in terms of, you know, a gaming coin. So Ethereum. I don't know if they've come out with the white paper yet for Ethereum. This one's like, I mean, you'd rather buy like a meme coin on Gala. Probably. This one went all the way from the top 100x potential to like, it's struggle, guys. Mavia. So Mavia continues to update. They continue to do things with their game. Their coins are struggling. It kind of is what it is. I think it hit new lows recently, actually. It's a struggle, man. These crypto games, they have a bunch of downloads, but that buy pressure is just so hard to get right now. Has potential, but definitely moved down on the tier list since then. A Metados. A Metados is, I think this is an F tier. I don't like their game. And I don't think their token makes sense and has a bunch of unlocks, and, you know, people are just, it's dead. So the next one is Meta Axie. This one's also crypto gaming node project that's going to be coming out at some point. They keep delaying the game, so I'm moving it down on the tier list because of this. They've got a bunch of stuff in their ecosystem. They're ads driven, has potential, but you ain't moving up on the tier list until you actually launch. So the next one is Mighty Action Heroes. So Mighty Action Heroes, I like as a game. They're doing a goat coin, which I'm the greatest of all time. I like the sound of a goat coin. Seems that they've got decent funding because of how good their game is right now. A little surprised. And I'm going to be putting this one at, I think this one's solid. I actually like Mighty Action Heroes. Mixmob is the next one. Mixmob it's going to be an ecosystem coin pretty much. They're on Solana right now. So if Solana games end up going up, then this is going to be really good for Mixmob. It's pretty much at lows. Crypto gaming space, crypto gaming coins kind of is what it is. But they've got like degen stuff. They got a bunch of different stuff for different people. I maintain that, you know, Solana games aren't doing the greatest in the world right now, so it kind of is from what it is from Mixmob. But in the scenario that we do end up getting solid attention for Solana games, Mixmob is going to be one of those leaders for sure. So it has a lot of potential. Mon Protocol. So Mon Protocol launched. They have a ton of partners, a ton of pressure on the upside, and and that's what happened. That's what happened to their chart. So it kind of is what it is, guys. I probably should have taken profit on my Mon Protocol. That's all I have to say. It's potential, but you gotta move down. You gotta move down on my list until there's some stability there. So Moon Tropica, I actually saw this one really early on, and it went and it pumped crazy. And Alex Becker was mentioning it, and it's just an enormous buy pressure. They have a big degen community, so I don't want to count them out at all. I'm putting them at the potential tier. Myria. So Myria is one I think is still solid. I still maintain that this one's a pretty good project. I know that they've corrected. I own a bunch of these nodes, and we've already gotten our initial investment out on Myria, so whatever happens to Myria doesn't really matter. I don't really care. But I actually like this ecosystem, and I would love to see more people playing Myria games, but at the end of the day, you got to come out with Meta Rush. You got to come out with more products. So I'm going to be lowering them on our tier list to you got potential, but I want to see your games. I want to see your games out. So Mythos. We got Mythos over here. They had a ton of downloads on some of their games like NFL Rivals, but I just haven't seen the Web2 masses onboarding and actually buying the Mythos coin. So I actually think this coin's a little bit higher than my last tier list. I would be putting it at more of like a potential because of this, but I don't see it just yet as to why I would be buying Mythos over some of these other coins. Nakamoto plays big into the Gamba space. They had this whole Telegram narrative as well that just carried them so hard earlier this cycle. I think this game's pretty solid. And if the Telegram narrative becomes bigger, then it'll be good for Nakamoto games. Notcoin. So Notcoin doesn't have a white paper. It doesn't have anything. So a bunch of people clicking. It's got the Telegram narrative. I might be a hater. I don't understand this coin. I don't know why it's at $1.2 billion. It just doesn't make any sense for me. I wouldn't be putting it at a D tier. I don't think they're struggling. They got a bunch of money. But I'll put it at a C tier for now because I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. So Nine Heroes, they're at $10 million. They are pretty much at all-time lows right now from their launch. They have some of the best gameplay in Web3 gaming, hands down. It's not even close. The utility, it's not 100% clear to me how they're going to get tons and tons of users and tons of market cap, but I really like their game, So this one to me it definitely has potential, but as a token, I can't put it anywhere higher, unfortunately, right now. So PGX it has $400 worth of volume. It's PegAxie's coin. PegAxie was enormous at one point. I love you, Corey, man, but it's bad right now. It's bad right now. So the next one is Crown. So Crown, they've got horse racing, tons and tons of revenue. They're doing really well for themselves right now. I am very bullish on Crown, actually. I think Crown is one of those that is not on the potential. This one's it's very solid product right now. And I'm surprised they are not higher than they are right now, but that's the markets right now. Pirate Nation recently came out, and this one is going to be a brand new S tier to this list. I'm putting this on S tier. They have so many users that they're literally having to pause people from being able to sign up to this game. That's how many people are farming Pirate Nation right now. I actually made a video on Pirate Nation very recently. Pirate Nation, very good game. They got the Coinbase listing. They took care of their community. Their NFTs are rising. They know what they're doing. I would put this the same exact place as Carrot Coin right now. Carrot Coin and Pirate Nation, you're both in the same exact place. So big props to both of these coins because they are well deserving of their S tier ranking. So Pixels Online, it's giving me Axie vibes. I hate to say it, it's giving me those SLP vibes. There's so many bots playing this game right now. The game does have a really good amount of actual users though, is the thing. I know this game, if they get an L2 going, this could have a huge resurgence. The valuation is really high right now, so they're not going to be as high as they were before, but it's solid. It's still solid. You're getting into this versus some of the other coins, you're doing pretty well for yourself. All right, so the next coin on this list is Planet Mojo. So Planet Mojo, they are very confusing because I actually like what they're building, but their coin is bleeding. It's this gives me Param vibes where their coin had just so many airdrop farmers that are just dumping the hell out of the chart, and the timing wasn't the best in the world, so it kind of is what it is for Planet Mojo. but I don't get it. Their coins should be doing so much better than they are right now. Why are you on Polygon? Get out of Polygon. You will be saved if you're not on Polygon. So I would maintain that they've got a lot of potential, but they need to get out of Polygon, man. And I don't know why people are on Polygon. There's no attention right there. No attention. Next one is playable games. So playable, huge rally earlier this year. AVAX narrative was really kind for them, and they went up a lot. I mean, they're still up 178% on the year. We got in a 0 ago. We're still up on our playable games initial position. And we got a bunch of nodes since then, right? So I don't know the math, but we're still accumulating this coin. They kind of did a little bit of a reformatting with their studio. They're kind of doing something very similar to what they were doing before. So your bet is like, is our AVAX chain subnet coins going to get like attention again? If so, playable games is going to do well. If not, then it kind of is what it is. So I'm going to be putting it at has potential, but hasn't really convinced me so far. So PlayZap is the next one. They're doing hyper casual. Hyper casual, it's hyper casual, and people aren't just going to spend a ton of money on it unless there's an enormous amount of downloads. They have a track record of getting those downloads. They're on the Binance Smart Chain, which doesn't give me a lot of confidence, but nonetheless, still pretty solid, has a pretty good amount of volume. And I will say that this is one of those coins that might shock us. Has a lot of potential. Portal. So Portal, huge launch, went absolute moon boy mode, and then it started bleeding. And then there's a lot of people that are going around. They're like, okay, this launched on Binance, was awesome. Nowadays, just not the same amount of attention as there was before. So I'll bet like it has potential, but I'm not like convinced it's over the line just yet. Corpo. So Corpo, I actually think this is one of the good ones in the world, and it's actually up 11%. Don't get too excited though. It's down a lot from where it was before, but this is one of those coins that does understand the industry, and I actually do like the games that Corpo is developing. It's more of a story of, do you think anime, when that comes out, is going to be super exciting? Citizen Conflict, it's not the most wow game in the world, but it is good enough, I think, for the valuation that they're in to warrant a pump. So I think this one's solid. So Ronin is an S tier for me because they've got the most users in Web3 right now. They have a lot of DeFi presence. They've had a pretty big correction, which makes their valuation much more attractive than it was before. I'm not bearish on this one at all. I have nothing bad to say about this one other than I would say it would be nice to see more games on Ronin, but they're already doing that. They're doing an L2 with Polygon. So I'm not bearish on this one. I'm very bullish on Ronin. Good job, Ronin. Sandbox. I think it's the same rating as Decentraland. I don't see it coming back this cycle, but I could be wrong. Seedify. So right now, as a buy, Seedify sucks because Seedify had a ton of launches, and a lot of launches ended up not doing the greatest in the world because, as you can imagine, crypto gaming right now in general as a niche is just not doing the greatest. So their coin went down a lot as a result. Why would you hold Seedify if they're not doing that well? However, what I will say is a lot of these launch pads are beginning to pivot into infrastructure plays, into AI plays. And if they can do that, then I think their token's going to have a pretty solid rebound. I will say at 80 million market cap, that you can't count them out at all. So this one absolutely has a lot of potential. They are a leader in the launchpad space for crypto gaming, and when crypto gaming bounces, Seedify is going to bounce really hard. So I'm going to maintain a B rating for Seedify right now. So the next one is Shrapnel. I own this one as well. Shrapnel is practically making new lows, let's be honest with ourselves. This is AAA, and some people say the gameplay is not AAA, the funding is AAA. They're spending a lot of money on this game, right? And so their game definitely needs work right now. Their unlocks aren't the prettiest in the world. However, when the space bounces, if it bounces, I think Shrapnel will be one of those coins that the space will look back on and will be on. So it's not the highest rating in the world, but it's definitely a solid coin for this tier list. So Citus is the next one. I know Citus built out a product on Telegram, the Telegram Ton chain. It's enormous right now. Tons of people are trying to capitalize on it. From a market cap standpoint, it hit a brand new all-time high. And in terms of a price, it's up 260% this year. I'm bullish on Citus. And, it's not just because like I own this coin, or, you know, we're doing things with this coin. I am bullish on this coin because they have a launch pad, they have Senate for governance, they have some of the games already out, don't have a lot of traction, but if their ecosystem ends up growing, people will begin to play those games, and it's kind of like a snowball effect when it comes to something like Cidus. So very bullish on Cidus, and I like what they're doing. I'll be putting this one at probably like a B tier right now. Definitely very solid. So Synverse, I think looks ugly, but the market cap's really low. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is. I think this one's struggling though. I mean, it's been at a low market cap for a really long time, and every time I hear about it, it's a bunch of botted comments. Scale is the next one. Scale is infrastructure. We like infra plays, but will these VC infra plays get the attention they need to be a success? Scale, I've been seeing it irritated on Twitter talking about marketing and stuff like that. Their games right now haven't wowed me enough to be like, oh, this is the most incredible ecosystem in the world. They have enough of a market cap and they have enough money raised to make this happen and make this work. It's more of like this has potential, and we'll see where this ends up going. That's my opinion on Scale right now. So Upland, they are going to be creating a coin, and that's, you know, based on energy sparks. Sparklets is what they're calling it. I don't think they're struggling at all. I mean, the game, it has a bunch of users. It still has a decent amount of revenue going for it. Has potential is where I'm going to be putting it at. So the next one is Splinter Shard. And Splinter Shard, I'm not convinced that the masses are going to want to adopt Splinter Shard. So they're struggling right now, and we'll see where it goes from there. Now, Atlas is the next one. This is the exact opposite situation. They recently published that they have a metric ton of revenue that they're making on Atlas right now. Their coin isn't doing incredible right now, which kind of makes sense, right? Because of the market and stuff like that. I'm very bullish on Star Atlas though, and their ecosystem. I know a lot of Gala whales have gone over to Star Atlas. They've been telling me a lot about Star Atlas. And so I am very bullish on what Star Atlas is building. And I think they should be getting more attention than they are right now, to be honest. So I'll be putting them at an A tier. So next one is Star Heroes. So Star Heroes as a coin, it had a pretty solid rebound pump, but just kept going back down after that. They have a huge esports pool, enormous esports pool. They've got that GameSwift affiliation, Microsoft affiliation. So this one has a ton of potential, but the gaming markets need to go up. They need to go up for Star Heroes to do well. So I'll be putting it, it's pretty solid, but it ain't there. It ain't there because of their launch time. The next one is GMT, which is one of the main coins for the STEPN ecosystem. STEPN still has pretty sticky retention, but the coin, you know, it isn't doing the greatest right now. I think they're struggling in terms of a coin. As a company, they're doing great. Phenomenal, in fact. So as a company, definitely S tier. Next one is Storm Warfare. This one got incubated by Seedify. It's down quite a bit since its launch. This one's been struggling to kind of get that retention. People farm the airdrop, they dump the heck out of it, and that's kind of been the story since its launch. I think they're struggling right now, but it's definitely a coin that can come back during a bull cycle if they do the correct marketing. Next one is Super Champs. So no, Super Champs is a new one to this list. They have over 5 million downloads. You know, they've got a champ token on base. Very bullish narrative. Base is going to have a ton of new users entering the markets. I'm going to be putting this one at the A tier because they understand the Web 2 marketing. Now they've just got to get into Web 3 and do it the right way. Superverse is the next one. This is that one. Ilya Trades got that. They have tons of partnerships. Similar to Beam is kind of how Superverse reminds me. I will say that I'm going to be decreasing my rating on Superverse only because I feel like by the time we get that huge run on crypto gaming again, I think that the amount of power that Superverse is going to have is going to be a little bit less than it used to be. So I'm going to be putting it at a B tier. So the Beacon, it's kind of like, you know, if I'm bullish on Arbitrum, I am going to be really bullish on this one. And it kind of like how like Magic was at C tier. I'm putting this one at A tier. I really liked playing the Beacon's Writ of Passage. It was their mint, but it was called the New Frontier. New Frontier was pretty awesome. Like, it was really fun, and I think their valuation wasn't crazy. So, and they raised everything on equity. All their money raised is equity, not tokens. So their token's going to be very decentralized, which is awesome. It's exactly what we want to see in the space. Theta World rebranding from Theta Arena. Their token is not doing great, but of course, Theta World has been able to prove in the past that they can do a big old pump. They can get a lot of users. So if they can replicate the same thing, they're going to do well. But for now, the token itself, I think, is struggling, but definitely can come back and do much better. This T-Rex coin, so this is called T-Rex 20, I think. It has I mean, guys, this is a shit coin. This is a shit coin, guys. So anyway, next one is Ultra. So Ultra right now is at a 36 mil market cap, 95 mil FDV. A lot of people have been telling me about this one. Crypto Stash keeps harking on this one every 5 seconds. Like, this is going to be the best thing in the world. I'm still not convinced, man. I'm not convinced they're going to be the next revolutionary product. So I'll be putting them on D for now. Vulcan Forged is the next one. Vulcan Forged from the Gala era. They maintained a little bit stronger than Gala, it feels like, over the past year. But this is really predicated on Gala. So I'd have to pretty much put them at the same place as Gala. If Gala does well, then I think Vulcan Forge is going to do well. 𝐷𝐿 Games. So 𝐷𝐿 Games is the ecosystem token for what 𝐷𝐿 is trying to build. They've got 𝐷𝐿 Defense. It's going to have this whole rebranding. A bunch of people are hyped for it. I know that Slayer has been playing it a lot. And so I'm not bearish on this one. I think it has a lot of potential, but I haven't been wowed yet by the performance just yet. So Wax is the next one. Wax was huge back in 2021. These days, though, it's a tough world for Wax. It's been a fun ride. Just F in the chat for Wax, guys. F in the chat. They're struggling right now. Mega Weapon. Mega Weapon was really big when the actual AVAX narrative was going on with subnets. These days, not doing great. Don't have a lot of volume. Not a lot to do. So definitely struggling right now. But you can't count them out just yet. I really like their game. The gameplay was good. It's just a token. You can't deny it's struggling right now. 𝐕𝐝. They've got the Asia narrative. They've got some solid games on there. And they recently, I think they had a relief pump. Yeah, they had a relief pump. They went from 90 cents all the way to $1.40. They've gone down since then. This is a really, really, really big chain. And I think they're very solid. Very solid, 𝐕𝐝. Wilder World. Wilder World, I think, is going to be the top crypto gaming metaverse project in the entire space. That's my bet, at least, with Wilder World. Right now at 33 cents, it is insane right now that some of these projects are valued where they are right now. They've got pretty much all their coins out there. This one is borderline S tier. I mean, maybe... Yeah, we'll give him S tier. We'll give him S tier because it's the top metaverse project. What metaverse project did I put at S tier? None. So the next one is 𝐈 Games. So 𝐈 as a token has not cooked. It's not cooked that much. They did pretty well at the beginning, then they kind of like fell off a cliff, like most gaming coins. But when gaming comes back, 𝐈 is going to come back. They will come back very strong. So I'm putting them at the solid tier. Very solid. They got a ton of money to make this work. They're going to make it work. 𝐿𝐴. Now, 𝐿𝐴 has not launched their token just yet. 𝐿𝐴, they're doing things with esports. They're doing player identity protocols. It's supposed to be this big old narrative that's coming up for crypto gaming. So I think they're pretty good. They're pretty solid. I'm happy with them. YGG, Gaming Guild. Gaming Guilds got a lot of money that they made playing crypto games. It's up 206% in the year. This one's pretty all right. It's got potential. The last one is Zentry. It's a rebrand of GuildFi, and they are trying to make that super change. They're trying to do something similar to Beam is kind of the entire idea behind this. They just rebranded at the wrong time. It's kind of it. If they rebranded at the same time as Beam, we could have seen a way different story. This one, though, I do like what they're doing, and I think that the GuildFi founders know how to make a coin do well. So, my longest video ever. But of course, it's for you, my friends. I hope you learned something from this video. Please smash the like button. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. Let me know the coins. Until the next time, see you all later. Stay classy. And that's all.